Before Barack Obama promised that no Americans would lose their health insurance. Before George W. Bush announced mission accomplished. Before George H.W. Bush said, "Read my lips, no new taxes," there was the Warren Commission report. And now, scenes from the Warren Commission, a radio play.
Tom, shouldn't you be heading off for work?
Yeah, but I need to call Mr. McPherson first.
Your old boss?
He'll be my boss again when I go back to his law firm after the Warren Commission issues its report.
Is the report really coming out now?
They originally wanted it out in June. Now they want the report out before the election. President Johnson wants to assure everyone there's no conspiracy in President Kennedy's assassination.
What difference does that make to the election?
If the public thought the Russians had been behind Kennedy's assassination, then Goldwater and the Republicans would use that in the campaign against Johnson.
Oh. But Tom, should the commission really be helping the president in the election?
We're not. We're just trying to get the report out and to reassure the public. Now let me make this phone call before I head off to work.
Okay. I love you, Tom.
I love you too, Trudy.
Hello, McPherson Morrison's Schenectady Law Offices. How may I help you?
Hello, I'd like to talk to Mr. McPherson.
May I say who's calling?
This is Tom Bedford.
I'll put him on the line in just a moment.
Hello?
Hi, Mr. McPherson. This is Tom.
Tom?
Tom Bedford.
Oh, do I know you?
Tom Bedford, sir. Thomas Bedford. I'm a junior partner in your law firm.
You are?
Yes, I've been on leave. I've been working as a staff attorney for the Warren Commission.
Oh, that's nice. How can I help you?
I'm calling about when I can return to your law firm.
Return?
I've been on a temporary leave of absence, sir, to work on the Warren Commission.
You want to work for McPherson, Morris, and Schenectady?
I already do, sir. I've been a junior partner at your firm for 3 years, but I've been on leave this year to be a staff attorney for the Warren Commission.
Is that another firm? I can't place the name.
The Warren Commission. Chief Justice Earl Warren is heading a commission to report on President Kennedy's assassination.
Oh, yes. I think I read about that somewhere.
The commission will be issuing its report soon, and I'd like to return to practice with McPherson, Morris, and Schenectady.
Say, are you that short fellow who always does poorly at our golf tournament every year?
Yes, sir. That's me.
Oh, I remember you now. You should have told me.
I'm the short guy who always does poorly at the office golf tournament.
Yes, I remember you now. Yes, Tim, I think we can work you back into things.
It's Tom, sir. Tom Bedford.
Oh, yes. I think we can probably do something, though I have to check with Goldman over in personnel. We took on 3 new junior partners recently, but I'm sure we can find something for you, I think. Probably. Let me check with Goldman and get back to you.
Thank you, sir.
Later that morning.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Margaret.
Mr. Dawes is coming in just a few moments.
Why is it that Mr. Doles is the only commissioner who ever comes to the office?
The rest of them have real jobs. Dawes wants to talk to you about another doctor testifying about President Kennedy's autopsy.
Not another doctor.
Yes, Mr. Dawes wants you to meet with him before he gives his testimony.
Again? Why do we have to go over things with all these doctors before they give their testimony?
We want to know what they're going to say before they say it under oath.
They all contradict each other anyway.
That's why we have to talk to them before they give their testimony.
What if we don't like their testimony? Hello, Mr. Doles.
We don't want bad testimony. Hello, Tom. Hello, Margaret. Let's go into your office and talk about it, Tom.
Another autopsy doctor?
Yes, it's tiresome, isn't it?
They haven't been the easiest people to deal with.
Well, this one is another Navy man.
Another?
President Kennedy's autopsy was at the Naval Medical Center.
I know. Is this testimony going to be about exit wounds and entrance wounds?
No, we're past all that.
Good.
No, we're just going to ask Dr. Jones 3 questions.
That should be easy enough.
Well, you haven't met Dr. Jones.
Oh?
Don't look so worried, my boy. You're going to be examining him. He's not going to be examining you.
Yes?
It's going to be a bit of a trick to get him to answer Just the 3 questions and not go off on some tangent.
Oh?
Well, our first question is about his background, his medical credentials, that sort of thing.
Does he know anything about autopsies?
Well, of course not. He's just a physician who happened to be there.
Oh.
He'll tell us about his background. That's no problems there. The next question will be where he was standing and what he was doing throughout the autopsy. That will be easy enough.
Okay.
The last question is the trickiest. We're going to have to ask him if he thought the autopsy was well conducted.
What's so difficult about that?
Unfortunately, Dr. Jones intends to retire from the Navy soon, and he's in a mood to criticize. Your job is to see that he says that the autopsy was well done, and not to criticize any of the doctors. Once you're sure of that, we can have Dr. Jones give his sworn testimony.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure you'll do fine with him, Tom. I know I can count on you.
Several days later,
You don't normally complain about the office like this, Tom.
I don't normally have to deal with a stuck-up jerk like Dr. Jones.
A doctor?
Yes, a doctor. More testimony about the president's autopsy. We finished most of that months ago.
Is he handsome?
Handsome?
Doctors are generally handsome.
I didn't notice if this doctor was handsome or not, but he's a jerk.
You shouldn't criticize doctors, Tom.
Why not?
It just doesn't seem right. They're doctors. They deserve respect.
This guy doesn't have any respect for anyone. He's going to retire from the Navy soon, and he can't say anything nice about anyone, least of all the Navy doctors who did the president's autopsy.
Does that really matter?
Yes! Mr. Doles doesn't want him to criticize the other doctors, at least in the official testimony. That makes them look bad, and if they look bad, then it calls their testimony into question.
Who would want to call their testimony into question?
Anyone who wants to criticize the commission's findings, and we don't want that.
What's there to question?
Nothing really. President Kennedy died of his gunshot wounds. The commission just wants to make sure that everyone's reassured he died of the right gunshot wounds.
Oh. Tom?
Yes?
If he died of the right gunshot wounds, what would a wrong gunshot wound be?
One that was pointing the wrong way.
Oh. Tom?
I know. You're going to ask me what a gunshot pointing the wrong way is.
I wouldn't want to be dim-witted or anything.
The only real problem was a gunshot wound in the president's throat. They all agree now that it's an exit wound.
What did they say when they didn't agree?
The doctor in Dallas said it was an entrance wound at first, but he changed his testimony.
That's nice. I didn't know that entrance wounds could change to exit wounds like that. Did I say something dim-witted?
No, of course not, honey.
Good. I wouldn't want you to think that you married a girl who was dim-witted.
No. But listening to all these doctors can make you feel that way. Believe me.
Oh. Tom?
Yes?
What would be so bad about an entrance wound?
If one entrance wound is in the back of his head, another entrance wound in the front of his throat would imply a second gunman.
So...
We know there wasn't a second gunman because we know that Mr. Oswald acted alone in killing the president. That's what the Warren Commission is supposed to reassure the American people about.
Tom, you are so clever to be able to follow all this evidence and testimony. I am very proud of you. I love you, Tom.
I love you too, Trudy. Good morning, Margaret.
Just say no.
Say no to what?
Donald is in your office.
Donald, who works for Mr. Rankin?
Yes, that Donald.
It's always trouble with Donald.
Yes.
Maybe it won't be this time.
Tom,
Yes?
just say no.
Say no to what?
If I tell you what you should say no to, then Donald will know that you know why I think you should say no.
Oh.
Hi, Tom. Have a seat.
Oh, thank you. It's my desk. I usually sit here. What can I do for you?
I've got something very exciting here, Tom.
Oh?
Very exciting.
Okay, I'm excited.
I knew you would be. Rankin and Doles both said you were the man for the job, and I just knew they were right as soon as they mentioned your name.
What job?
We want you to write the final draft to a key part of the report.
That's nice. What part?
The section that lays out the trajectory of the bullets.
Hasn't there been a lot of disagreement about that?
That's why we want you to write it, Tom. You're the man who can lay this all out in clear, concise language.
Oh, thank you.
I knew we could count on you, Tom.
But I haven't agreed yet.
But you will, won't you?
Why don't you ask Richard? He's good at explaining things that are hard to explain.
Richard is already busy with a number of other sections. Besides, he felt that you would be better suited for this one.
Really? That's nice. But what about Harry? He's been doing lots of sections related to the actual shooting.
No, Harry thought that you would be better for this one. He knows a lot about the Dealey Plaza layout, but he doesn't know a lot about bullets.
I don't know much about bullets, Donald.
You don't need to, Tom. It's all there. These are drafts and notes. It's all there.
It is? Well, it's thick enough.
It'll be a piece of cake, Tom. We're all so glad you're the one who's going to do it.
Well, I haven't actually agreed.
Mr. Doles knows that you're the man, Tom.
But what if I said no?
That's the great thing about you, Tom, the way you don't try to seize all the glory for yourself.
You said yes, didn't you?
No, I didn't say yes.
But you've got the file there, and he was practically running out the door.
I thought about saying no,
You thought about it?
but he didn't give me time to say no.
Tom,
Well, what's so bad about this? It's just another writing assignment, one more section of the report. It's all in here, isn't it?
have you looked at that?
I haven't really had
Do
time.
you know what they want?
They want me to write this section of the report about the bullets which hit President Kennedy and Governor Connolly.
That's right.
There were 3 shots, 3 bullets, 3 wounds, 2 on the president and 1 on Governor Connolly. Right?
You're not aware of the curb shot?
The curb shot.
There was also a missed shot that took out a piece of a curb. A chip flew up and cut a bystander in the face.
Okay, we've got the 3 shots that hit the president and Governor Connolly, and now we've got a 4th shot. Don't we?
They've been all around this in the executive sessions, Tom. There were only 3 shots. There can only be 3 shots.
Because more than 3
Would
shots.
be more than the 3 bullet cartridges they've got for Oswald's rifle.
And since we don't have a 4th bullet cartridge from Oswald's rifle,
A 4th shot would mean
that we couldn't reassure the American public that Oswald was the only shooter.
that's right.
So what does this mean?
It means that you've agreed to explain how 3 bullets can cause 3 wounds and a curb shot.
But that's impossible.
Not as impossible as saying that there was a 4th bullet.
Donald said that Mr. Doles and Mr. Rankin and Richard and Harry all thought I was the best man to write this section.
I don't know about Rankin or Dulles, but I know that Richard refused to write this part, and that Harry started it but gave up in despair.
Why?
I told you to say no.
I didn't know what I was supposed to say no to.
You didn't need to know why I told you to say no when you knew that Donald was in your office and would know what we were saying when I told you to say no.
But I didn't know.
And now you've got to explain how 3 bullets can cause 3 wounds and a curb chip.
But that's impossible, isn't it?
The commission doesn't want a 4th bullet and another shooter, so you'd better make it possible.
Later that day,
What's wrong, Tom?
Nothing.
Are you having trouble with the doctor again?
No, he's supposed to testify tomorrow.
Then why are you so quiet? Was it the meatloaf?
No, the meatloaf was fine.
Was it the applesauce?
No, dinner was fine.
Oh, is it my hair?
Did you change your hair?
No.
Then why are you asking?
Something's bothering you, Tom Bedford.
No, it's work. I've got this terrible assignment. It's driving me nuts.
Oh, really?
I've got to write part of the final draft of the report dealing with the bullets.
Bullets? Why bullets?
The president was shot.
I guess that would be with bullets, wouldn't it?
We've only got 3 bullet cartridges, and there were 3 wounds. But now there's a chip off of a curb.
Then there must have been a 4th bullet.
No, there couldn't have been. We've only got 3 bullet cartridges from Oswald's rifle.
Couldn't there be a 4th bullet cartridge somewhere?
Not from Oswald's rifle.
Well, how about from someone else's rifle?
No, we know that Oswald was the only assassin, so that's impossible.
But how can you say that Oswald was the only assassin if you've got evidence for 4 shots?
No, we've been through all this before. Oswald was the only shooter.
Well, maybe one of the bullets caused 2 of the wounds.
A bullet couldn't blow out the president's brain and then...
Okay, have it your way.
But... one might have passed through the president and then hit Governor Connolly. He was sitting in front of the president in the car. Yes, that's it. I love you, Trudy.
I love you too, Tom.
The next day,
I think I've got a solution.
Okay, just remember, the FBI report says that the president was hit by the first and third bullet, and Governor Connolly was hit by the second. How are you going to work the curb chip in?
The first bullet hit both the president and Governor Connolly.
You mean,
The bullet went through the president's back and out his throat, then hit Governor Connolly and caused his wounds.
but Connolly has always said that he was hit by the second shot.
He's wrong.
Connolly's wife, who was right next to him, testified that he was hit by the second shot.
She's wrong.
I don't know. This is going to contradict two of the key witnesses.
Look, we've had contradictory evidence before we decided that the entrance wound on President Kennedy's throat was really an exit wound. Now we've got one bullet causing injuries to Connolly's body, wrist, and leg.
Do you really believe that one bullet could have done all this?
It's not what I believe that's important, Margaret. The important thing is to reassure the American public that there wasn't a second shooter in a conspiracy.
It's going to take a lot of persuading to convince anyone that one bullet could do all that. Besides, the bullet they've recovered hardly shows any damage. If it had caused all those wounds, it would have been all marked up.
Let's not play being ballistics experts ourselves, Margaret. Let's call in some of the experts.
later that morning,
Hello, Mr. Dawes.
Hello, Tom. Hello, Margaret.
Hello, sir. We're still waiting for some of the ballistics people to get back to us with some information. I'll have a draft of the report as soon as I get it.
That's fine. I thought I'd see how Dr. Jones's testimony is coming.
He's supposed to give his official testimony this afternoon.
And you still don't think you can keep him from criticizing the other doctors?
You should have heard what he was saying when he left.
Was it bad?
If you said that a gorilla could have performed a better autopsy, would you mean it as a compliment?
No, I suppose not.
I don't know how you're going to stop him. Do you really need his testimony?
Do we really need any testimony, my boy? Our job is to reassure the American public that President Kennedy was killed by one crazed gunman and one crazed gunman alone. We can't let this sort of thing jeopardize that. We need to show that the autopsy, along with everything else about the investigation, has been carried out to the highest possible professional standards.
Dr. Jones isn't going to compliment the autopsy pathologist on their professionalism. I can guarantee that.
If only he wasn't retiring from the Navy.
Now, he hasn't retired yet, has he?
I think he's got another month or so.
So, it's probable that they haven't processed everything, his pension and all that.
What are you getting at, sir?
I know some Navy people downstairs. I think I want to go talk to them about the affairs of one veteran. Excuse me.
What do you suppose that's about? He wouldn't try to blackmail Dr. Jones, would he?
No, not exactly. No more than usual.
several days later,
Well,
All the ballistics experts have weighed in. They agree with the doctors that Governor Connolly's wounds had to have been caused by at least 2 bullets.
that's not in the official testimony.
True, but
If it's not in the official testimony, we don't have to use it.
I suppose...
Let's focus on the areas everyone agrees on.
Okay.
The Zapruder film shows that the first shot hit the president.
Everyone assumes that. The film shows him behind a highway sign.
It passes through the president's body.
You're going to ignore all of the debate about how a bullet could enter his back at a downward angle, then come out the other side of his throat?
And hits Governor Connolly's body, wrist, and leg,
Even though the FBI and the Secret Service say that Connolly was hit by a separate bullet.
shattering much of Governor Connolly's 5th rib and his right wrist.
All of this leaving almost no marks on the bullet.
The bullet lodges on his left thigh. When the governor is lying on the stretcher at Parkland Hospital, the bullet falls out of the wound onto the stretcher, where it's later found.
Even though the hospital employee couldn't determine under oath that it was Connolly's stretcher where he found the bullet. Even allowing for the various bullet fragments taken from Governor Connolly's body, not to mention the fragments the doctors left in Connolly's body.
You don't like it?
It's very clever. It's just that I don't believe it.
Does that matter so much?
This isn't credible.
It's the best we can do.
I suppose so, given the evidence we've got and what we're supposed to conclude from it.
Our job is to reassure the American people. If the people believe our reassurance, then we've done our job.
Who do you think is going to believe this?
Rankin?
Yes, but he assigned this section to you.
Okay, Dulles?
Dulles doesn't believe anything. His only concern is if others will believe it or not.
Then if the public believes it, Dulles will be satisfied. Right?
Let's see what Dulles and some of the others have to say.
Later that day,
So how did Dr. Jones' testimony go?
He didn't criticize the other doctors.
Good.
I guess whatever Dulles said to the Navy people helped him see that it wasn't in his interest to criticize the doctors.
You know what Dulles always says. If we let the witnesses answer the questions the way they want, we would never get to the end of this.
a few days later,
Tom, it's Harry. I think he's read your draft.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Tom. I just read your draft. This bit about the bullets is great, Tom. Just great.
You think so?
Having that one bullet do all that, I never would have dreamed of that.
You don't think?
I don't think you could get all of Conley's wounds out of just one bullet, and you managed to get Kennedy's back wound too.
That back wound is now a neck wound, Harry. And besides, I didn't get it that way. That's what the evidence shows.
Of course, Tom. Whatever you say. Great job.
Not good?
Harry just laughed.
But did he think that it would work?
I don't know. He didn't stop laughing. What did Richard say?
Well, he laughed a bit too. But he said that it was probably the best that anyone could do with the evidence.
Does he think that there's another shooter?
He didn't say that, Tom. He knows that you had to limit it to 3 shots.
Okay, have you talked to Donald?
Yes, I just talked to him a minute ago. He said that Mr. Rankin's thinking about it. But Donald thinks that Rankin likes it.
He thinks so?
You know how Donald is.
Yes, he's the one that got me into this mess.
It's really the commission's mess, Tom, not yours personally.
Yes, but I'm the one that has to write this particular section.
You've done a very good job of it.
Thank you. Sometimes I read it and I think it sounds credible.
Well,
And sometimes I read it and,
don't worry about it. Outside of the commission, no one will know that you wrote that particular section.
True, but inside the commission...
It doesn't matter. They decided how they wanted the evidence interpreted. You just had the job of writing it up.
True. Still, I'd like for Mr. Warren to like it.
Warren?
It is his name on the report. The Warren Commission report.
Of course.
Have you sent him a copy?
No. I thought I'd see what some of the others thought first.
The worst thing he can do is fire me.
He won't fire you. He might, laugh at you, but he won't fire you.
later that day,
Hello, Mr. Dulles.
Well, hello, Margaret. Hello, Tom. This is brilliant.
What's that?
You're writing, my boy. You're writing.
Is it okay?
Tom, this is brilliant.
It is?
Oh, don't be coy, my boy. This is one of the cleverest explanations that I've ever come across.
Thank you. But is it believable?
I said it was clever, Tom. I didn't say it was believable.
Oh. Is clever good enough?
It has to be. We can't do any more with the evidence that we've got.
But will it reassure the American people?
Tom, the American people want to be reassured. Most of them will never read this. A few politicians and a few journalists and historians will, but no one else. Don't worry, my boy. You've succeeded.
I have?
Yes. We've sent drafts to the White House and the FBI.
Oh.
If they think it's reassuring, then we've succeeded.
And if they don't?
If not, I'm sure President Johnson will let us know what he thinks, in the most forceful terms.
Oh.
Everything will be fine, my boy. Trust me.
the next day,
Tom, it's your wife.
Thanks. Hi, Trudy. What's up?
Tom, Mr. McPherson called today and I wanted to tell you before you come home tonight.
He did? I should probably call him back right now.
No, don't worry. I talked to him and I took care of everything.
You did?
He said that he could probably work something out for you at McPherson, Morris, and Schenectady.
Work out something? I want my old job back.
Don't worry, Tom. They'll let you in as a junior partner.
But I'm already a junior partner. I've just been on leave to work on the Warren Commission.
Don't worry. You'll have the same salary as before. Mr. McPherson did mention one other thing, though.
What?
He said that it would mean a lot to the firm and the clients if you took some golf lessons.
Tom, Mr. Dulles is here.
Listen, honey, I've got to go. But thanks for talking to Mr. McPherson.
Okay. Tom,
Yes?
I love you.
I love you too, Trudy. Hello, Mr. Dulles.
Hello, Tom. I just wanted to tell you in person that everything has worked out fine.
They liked it?
Of course, they can't say so officially, but unofficially and off the record, everyone is very happy with it, Tom.
Good. That's a relief.
Hello. Tom, it's Mr. Rankin.
Excuse me just a moment, sir.
Well, I thought I'd stop by just to let you two know.
Excuse me, Mr. Dulles, but how did they like it? Really?
Really?
Yes, really.
Hoover had no comment. It contradicts the FBI's investigation, but it supports the results he wanted, so he won't say anything.
And the president?
President Johnson said that he had his doubts before, but he's now convinced.
Convinced?
He had always hoped that Oswald was the lone assassin, but after reading Tom's draft, he's now convinced that there was a conspiracy.
But that's not what we wanted.
Don't worry, Margaret. When the time comes, he'll tell everyone that he has great faith in the Warren Commission report.
I don't find that particularly reassuring.
You don't have to. As long as the public is reassured, everything will be fine. Well, I've got to be going. Tell Tom we're all quite proud of him.
Mr. Dulles just said how proud of you they all are. What did Mr. Rankin say?
He said that everyone is very pleased with my writing.
That's just what Mr. Dulles was saying.
Good. I was a bit worried,
Don't worry, Tom. The report is going to reassure everyone, and everything is going to work out just fine.
This has been Scenes from the Warren Commission, a radio play featuring Sarah Nielsen as Trudy, Beth Anderson as Margaret, Jeff Scott as Tom, and our special guest star, Al Anderson as Mr. Dulles. Also featuring Dave Payanessa, Mike Ravasio, Barry Scott, and Marilyn Spandau. Written and produced by Jeff Scott, with technical assistance by Ian Scott. This has been a Pear Bruin production.